Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
As protests continue for the 9th straight day since George Floyd's death, there has been a significant shift in the case. 3 more Minneapolis police officers charged in his killing, and Derek Chauvin, the officer whose knee was on his neck, now facing a second-degree murder charge. That is, Floyd's family prepares for a public memorial. Reporter Jay Gray has been following this story and joins us with the latest.
It's become a gathering place, in a sense, sacred ground. But for some, the pilgrimage to this spot where George Floyd died is more difficult.
And no man or woman should be without their fathers.
Floyd's son, Quincy Mason, here for the first time.
Because it's so emotional that we want justice for what's going on right now.
A part of that justice for his family and thousands across the country marching for the 9th straight day, holding all of the officers involved accountable for Floyd's death.
We're here today because George Floyd is not here.
Today, the Minnesota Attorney General announcing charges against the other 3 officers at the scene.
Hennepin County Attorney Michael Freeman and I filed a complaint that charges police officer King, Lane, and Tao with aiding and abetting murder in the second degree, a felony offense.
The state also upping the charge against Derek Chauvin, the officer with his knee on Floyd's neck, from 3rd to 2nd degree murder. As the investigation continues, so does the mourning here. Tomorrow, Floyd's family, along with thousands, expected to gather here at a worship center on the campus of North Central University for the first of 4 public memorials. Civil rights activist and MSNBC host Reverend Al Sharpton will deliver the eulogy.
I want to first console the family and let them know that the world is with them. I want to also challenge the world on why are we here again.
A challenge echoing across a frustrated and fractured nation. Jay Gray, NBC News, Minneapolis.
The governor of Minnesota compares the anxiety of night protests nationwide to the same anxiety that African Americans face every day. Governor Walz made the comment while visiting the memorial of George Floyd in Minneapolis today. He and his wife, Gwen, paid their respects and spoke to those at the site. At one point, the governor adding the message, "Justice now," to a growing street memorial.
It's just really hard. I mean, I know, and I just candidly said this, I'm not sure we get another shot at this as a country.
Walz also spoke to the media and apologized for the unrest that they have experienced. Easy to like today's weather, but as temps are cooling down, I'm hearing about the chances of maybe some thunderstorms. Let's find out for sure as First Alert Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joins us with a Wednesday night weather planner. Hutch?
Mike, thanks so much. As we take a look at our current conditions and situation, we do have a few clouds increasing in eastern North Dakota. Some thunderstorms south of Bismarck are diving southward towards South Dakota. This is all caused by a cool front that is pushing through the region from west to east tonight. So our Devils Lake Basin counties seeing hit and miss sprinkles on the radar right now. Nothing strong, nothing severe, but those will continue to progress eastward as this cold front pushes eastward tonight. Temperatures holding in the low 80s for most of eastern North Dakota at this hour, 70s for most in northwest Minnesota. The skies, well, more clouds building into the FM area, but we should stay dry for your evening plans, grilling activities, or outdoor events. Temperatures slipping into the 70s after the 10 at 10 tonight. In Grand Forks, likewise, a very quiet evening. You'll see a few sprinkles in and around your area. I think Grand Forks stays dry at least through the evening. More details on overnight weather, and we're going to take a look ahead at a weather alert day that we have called for Saturday and for Sunday. That's coming up here in a few minutes.
All right, interested in that, thanks. The first peaceful demonstration for George Floyd has apparently been organized in the Grand Forks area. The march's organizer did not respond to our inquiries, but posts on the event's Facebook page say that it's going to be as non-disruptive as possible, which is something Grand Forks police say they hope sticks.
We'll be prepared for contingencies, but it's not our goal to interfere with this in any way, shape, or form. We want it to be peaceful. We're in support of it being peaceful. We're working with them to try to ensure that occurs.
The protest is set to kick off Thursday at noon, with marchers starting at the parking garage on 1st Avenue and North 4th Street and continuing on through the city's downtown to advocate for the change of police brutality, systemic racism. So far, over 200 people have pledged that they will be attending. The police chief of Wahpeton says his statement on possibly pressing charges for social media posts was to discourage people from rioting. Yesterday, the city put out a news release quoting the chief as saying people could face charges for sharing certain posts online. This was in regards to a rumor on Snapchat that there would be a riot in Wahpeton on Friday. Chief Scott Thorstensen says that he was only citing a century code against inciting riots. 2 airmen killed earlier this week at the Grand Forks Air Force Base have been identified. One of them is the lady you see on your screen, 21-year-old Natasha Aposhian of Arizona. Her family tells us that she was a victim of domestic violence. The Air Force Base wouldn't comment on details of its death investigation. The other airman who died was 20-year-old Julian Torres of Texas. That shooting took place inside one of the dorms on base.
There's this military culture that says, hey, don't seek help. Not explicitly. Leadership will say, you need some help, seek help.
All 21 airmen living in the Grand Forks dorm where the incident happened were moved elsewhere, and mental health resources are available to those needing them on base. The search continues tonight for 26-year-old Warren Misovich of Fargo after Moorhead authorities tried to stop him several times during a pursuit yesterday afternoon. Video shared with Valley News Live shows officers trying to stop the truck that Misovich was driving. He kept going, and eventually officers ended the pursuit. Police say that he's facing a variety of charges, and once again, if you know of his whereabouts, you are asked to contact the Red River Dispatch Center. Charges have been filed against a Cullum, North Dakota man alleging sexual assault of a 15-year-old girl and disorderly conduct against her and another 13-year-old girl last month. Caleb Nill admitted to inappropriately touching them over their clothing, but denies any further sexual intent. The Red River Child Advocacy Center in Fargo is assisting the Lemoore County Sheriff's Department with this particular investigation. North Dakota is confirming 33 more cases of COVID-19 today, and another death has been linked to the illness. The patient who died was a man in his 70s from Cass County. They also indicate that the man had underlying health issues. There have been 66 total deaths linked to COVID-19 in North Dakota. There are currently 444 cases in the state. 2,169 people are listed as being recovered. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum isn't sure if recent protests in North Dakota will lead to a spike in coronavirus cases, but he is offering some advice for people who are considering being a part of a protest. The governor says you should also consider who may encounter afterwards. If you have family members or loved ones that may be vulnerable to COVID-19, they could end up catching it from you.
If you are younger, you're more likely to be asymptomatic. If you're younger, you're probably more likely to be protesting. And again, if you're someone who is got people in your life that are vulnerable, whether that's older adults or people that may have underlying health challenges, whether it's diabetes or high blood pressure or cardiovascular disease, and we know that there's that these present real risks for people of both age and underlying health conditions. And so if you're a young person that is going to put yourself in a crowd of people like that, I think you have to be aware of whether you might then choose to socially distance from your loved ones who are vulnerable, or wear the precautions of wearing a mask when you're there, or choosing to have your voice heard some other way.
The governor said the topic was discussed today by governors from all across the country, as well as White House officials. And he adds that social distancing and wearing of a mask could protect protesters from coming in contact with any unwanted virus. Meanwhile, Minnesota is reporting another 14 deaths from the virus, bringing the death toll to 1,086. Of those deaths, 876 happened in a long-term care facility. 372 new coronavirus cases are being reported, bringing the active case count to 3,615. 21,169 people have recovered. Here's a chance for you to roll up your sleeves and give the gift of life. The Fargo Force and American Red Cross are joining forces for a blood drive at Shields Arena. If you're healthy and if you're feeling well, you can schedule an appointment during this 2-day drive. The Red Cross says that there's an urgent need for blood donations to prevent another blood shortage as hospitals resume treatments and procedures put on pause by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, to schedule an appointment, visit redcrossblood.org. Because of safety concerns, there will be extra precautions. Your credit card debt could be piling up. We have tips on how to start paying that down. That's coming up later on Valley News Live at 6.
Well, it's cooler today. Temperatures in the 80s for many, Red River and points to the west, and peak temperatures in the 70s across much of northwest Minnesota. Some active weather for that first meteorological summer weekend. Details on that and your forecast are next.